WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
Can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say. I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary.
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon flying solo today. That's right. This should be very interesting, to say the least. It's been a little while since I've done one of those.
Oh, boy. It's going to be one of those shows. I can feel it.
Right you are, Joey Styles. And I was going to say, if the rumors are true, then something tells me I should be getting in contact with you to have a little chat with you here on the program. Yeah, that's right. The rumors going around that Joey Styles might have been let go by WWE. We'll, I guess, delve into a little bit more of that over the course of the hour, as we are a week and a day away from SummerSlam. Got a huge card lined up and possibly a little bit more to go, as there are already 9 matches set on the card, ready to go from Brooklyn 1 week from tomorrow. Also, in other news, there's a new head of TNA. We'll let you know who that is and what's going on with that. Also, in a follow-up from last week, Freed Me More. We'll tell you what's going on with Ryback, although you can pretty much put it together. Also, the Bound for Glory date and location has been announced, and the gold standard drops in value. Those are just some of the stories that we'll be getting into over the course of the hour. It's good to be back in studio. It's been a little while, at least it certainly feels like it, between the remotes at the MFPW and, of course, pre-recording a couple weeks ago due to the Champs for Charity event involving the MFPW. It's been probably about a month since I've been in studio and had the chance to talk to all of you lovelies out there. So we'll certainly get a chance to get to the phones, also the Facebook feedback. One other thing I wanted to get into, because it seems like it's been going all kinds of crazy over the course of, well, really the last week or so, but even more going on about it as recently as an hour ago. Conor McGregor of the UFC has had some less than stellar words for regarding WWE and its competitors and things of that nature. And just when you thought it was over, let's just say that there's more going on with it. As well, Conor McGregor had some not so nice things to say. And there's been a lot of back and forth. There's been a large back and forth, to say the least. He was on a recent conference call promoting his UFC 202 rematch with Nate Diaz going on later this month, and he boldly referred to WWE superstars as messed up. Well, we'll throw the P word out there. I think you can kind of figure it out from there. I guess questioning their masculinity. It all came up from when he was asked about a crossover to WWE being in his future because of the crossover with Brock Lesnar and CM Punk and Ronda Rousey making an appearance in WWE. And he took a few shots on it. He said on the call, quote, "I have thought about WWE. For the most part, though, I think those guys are bleep, to be honest. They're messed up bleeps, if you ask me. Fair play to Brock. He got in and fought, but at the end of the day, he was juiced up to the bleeping eyeballs." Again, this is Conor McGregor saying all this. How can I respect that? The other guy hasn't fought yet, so I don't know about him yet, referring to CM Punk. He then went on to Twitter after those comments because he was, needless to say, lambasted by most of the WWE universe and wrestling fans anywhere. Anywhere and everywhere, for that matter. So he went to Twitter to say, quote, "I didn't mean no disrespect to the WWE fans. What I meant to say was that I'd slap the head off your entire roster and twice on Sundays." So this has been getting very juicy, to say the least. And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, the responses from various wrestlers have been, it's just been an all kind of back and forth. Including Ric Flair, who tweeted out, "Coming from a guy who built a career copying my persona, I expected the type of class we get from Ronda or Anderson." I believe referring to Ronda Rousey or Anderson Silva. He goes on to says, "After Diaz finishes you again, I dare you to try guys like Dolph, Brock, or Fit. Oh, you're welcome for your gimmick." So it's getting rather heated, to say the least. Kurt Angle saying, "Very funny little guy. Why don't you get your head out of Dana White's," we'll edit it to backside. MVP taking a shot at Conor. "The way Nate Diaz Stockton slapped you, or nah?" MVP is hilarious. And Roman Reigns, he said, "You're the size of my leg. Shut up." It's gotten very, very heated. And there's a few more here. JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, saying, "Hey, Conor McGregor, if you put on some weight, you might make the WWE Cruiserweight division." Kind of picking on the I guess, bantamweight, or which I don't even know which division. It shows you how little I know about UFC, other than the WWE crossover. I mean, I know he's a big name, but I couldn't tell you what weight class he's in. I'll be honest out there with all you on that, listeners. Kofi Kingston adding, "Yikes, looks like Conor McGregor could really use a bowl of Bootios right about now. Someone hook him up." And then he put up the link to FYE.com where you could get a bowl of Bootios. I may have to get some of that after the show here. And Chris Jericho saying, "Sorry, pal, no disrespect to you, but my fights are legit, unlike the fixed fights you have in UFC. I'll embarrass you." Kind of flipping the proverbial script, I suppose. So, yeah, all this leading up to a UFC fight 1 week from tonight against Nate Diaz that'll be on pay-per-view in Las Vegas. So he got wrestlers with more than 14 million combined followers to mention his name. Even Sasha Banks calling him out and saying, "Bring it." But as if that all wasn't enough, as I said, within the past few hours here, there's even more to this story. That's right, McGregor not backing down even a little bit, and this time setting his sights on the face of WWE, as has been for the last decade or so. During a media day in Las Vegas, McGregor responding to the various wrestler tweets, and he brought up John Cena. He said, "What's the main guy? John Cena. He's 40 years of age, walking around in a luminous orange T-shirt and headband, talking about no one can see him. You can see him right there. He's a big, fat, 40-year-old failed Mr. Olympian bleep. Do you know what I mean? They're dweebs, those guys." Yeah, it's going all kinds of back and forth. And I don't even know where necessarily to, where it's going to go from here. And McGregor even had a response for Ric Flair regarding his comments, saying, "Ric Flair's a legend, but as far as gimmicks, this is the real thing over here. I think these WWE guys, they're not right in the head, some of them. I mean, the new guys are dweebs, let's be honest, absolute dweebs, but the old school guys are legends. Ric Flair is a legend, the McMahons, of course, dons, but I just say it as it is, they're dweebs. I don't know what to say to Ric Flair. This ain't no gimmick. This is the real bleep. I've got to get in there and fight a man for real, with no script, with no nothing." Oh, boy. And McGregor welcoming the challenge if any of the wrestlers from the WWE roster wanted to step inside the octagon and test him for real. He said, "This is the real bleep over here. You want to come over, we can fight, no problem. A few of them are talking about the street and all. If they want to do that, come at me and see what happens." And he goes on to pay respect to guys like The Rock, Steve Austin, and Ric Flair, but again, referring to some of the newer wrestlers as absolute dweebs. I don't know, your thoughts? You can certainly chime in, 215-949-3232, or toll free at 888-922-2149. In fact, let's go ahead and get to the phones where we've got Walt from Feasterville chiming in. Walt, welcome to the program.
Hey, Fearon, good to hear your voice live again.
Well, I mean, I've been live. I just haven't been in studio. That's
Well, there's two chapters. You're on the road. That's one way to be live, but you're in the studio, which you're even more closer to everything.
This is true, yeah. I mean, it's kind of an interesting balance with the learning process of the learning the ins and outs of being a professional wrestler. I mean, that's something that I didn't think I'd be doing, and it's certainly been a lot of fun thus far, a lot of interesting moments and things of that nature. Anyway, what's on your mind, Walt?
Well, understanding the following, we're going to do a trivia question to open up because Lucas, who knows things, isn't present, must be on vacation.
No, he's working at the moment.
Oh, that's good. At least he's getting employment somewhere. Your trivia question: Stephanie McMahon and Shane McMahon have what rough percent of the ownership circle of, or the pie of WWE stock? What percent?
Oh, goodness. I saw this a little while ago, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I mean, I don't know what exactly.
No, you don't have to get exact, but this was as of May 2016. Just give me, it's a single-digit number before the decimal point.
A single-digit number before the decimal point of how much stock they own?
The percent of their shares, this is as of May, as ratioed by the SEC.
Oh, goodness!
Stock Exchange Commission. It's a number. It's a prime. No, it's not a prime number.
A prime number.
I'm giving you clues. 2%. Both of them.
2%. Yeah, I was gonna, that.
2%.
I was gonna say I didn't think it was a whole lot. I mean, I forget what the exact. I mean, I remember getting like a whole thing of the breakdown. I think right after some stock was sold by Vince McMahon.
He sold 2 million shares plus, and he got about, I think it was 38 to 39 million before tax to help the family get along in life.
Yeah, that's right. Linda has some. I mean, Kevin Dunn has a very little bit. Paul Levesque, or Triple H has a very little bit. There's it's divvied up, but that's right. They each have, I think, a 2% thereabouts of.
Yeah, those two have two. That's the quick answer. We don't need to go any other directions, but that's it. That was that trivia. Okay. For your next step here, in the old days, then and now, we're doing then and now.
Then and now?
Yes, then and now. We're doing then and now. It used to be who wanted to be professional wrestlers had to get licenses to be correctly a on-the-road performer for the organizations they've signed. Is that still a current condition? They have to get licenses in the states they perform. Is that current for the now side?
My gut instinct would say no, as I know that, thinking back to back then, I know that Gorilla Monsoon would always reference that you could either have a wrestler's license or a manager's license, but not both. As far as I know, I don't believe that's something that
current.
That is current.
No.
I mean, otherwise, then then I must be doing something illegal, training at the MF Pro Academy. So
if you haven't appeared in the ring for a professional match, you're still a preliminary wrestler in what's that would be called, an apprentice. That should be, if that's still enforced. Now that's how I wonder how each state, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, have the rules. I haven't gone into deep research for the now side.
Well, I mean, none of the wrestlers whom I've spoken to and made friendships with over the years have mentioned anything about having a state-by-state license, and I know that for some of them that would be rather expensive, having to get one for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, being right here in the tri-state area.
True, but maybe they're under contract, which makes a difference as an independent contractor kind of condition, because I've heard of that too.
Maybe, but I mean, you don't really see that too much on the independent scene, at least not from what I've seen. I mean, you could be one weekend, you could be at ECWA. The next weekend, you could be with CZW. The weekend after that, you could be with, I don't know, Jersey All Pro. And the weekend after that, you could be with, oh, goodness, I don't know. I mean, there are so many here. I'm like drawing a blank here from sleep deprivation. But, I mean, you get the idea. Each week you could be with a different organization, and because they all run so closely together here in the tri-state area, I mean, that certain part of southeastern Pennsylvania, you go 5 miles east and you're in Jersey. You go 5 miles south, you're in Delaware. So
20 miles, actually.
Well, 20 miles.
Get your numbers right. And that's okay. But yeah.
Well, like a topography map?
No, if you're working for a major organization, you can be under an independent contract to wrestle for them, but you get no benefits. You're on your own from what you collect salary-wise. And I'm just curious if you're presented over the TV, are you covered license-wise in the other states that the TV channels go into? It's really interesting, sophisticated levels.
Yeah, it's hard to say because, not only do you have the TV aspect of it, but you also have various streaming capacities and iPay-per-view, and the digital format kind of brings a whole new element to the game.
Yes, it does. It makes it more sophisticated also, and it takes time to learn. That's why I would like to have Lucas here, because he could know something. He knows things.
I'm sure he'll listen back and be able to soak in all of your pearls of wisdom.
Yes, wisdom. I'm trying to go up above new school to the category called super school. It's a higher up plane to get even more advanced knowledge, deeper and wider, and going onward. How's that?
I was going to say, it sounds like something that Rob Van Dam might have cooked up.
Could be, but would you want to be old school or reverse school or new school or super school or extended super school? You want to be in what category you want to be in?
That sounds like more categories than possibly exist, unless you're getting, I don't even want to say philosophical. It sounds almost like like I said, it sounds like you might have had some of Van Dam's favorite element before hopping on the air here, in all honesty.
No, I don't drink. Come on now. It's grades. If I'm looking in a consulting firm and I want to look at what I'm have to talk to people, I want to understand them. So if I have to use old school to get them into the organization, I use old school style. Schooling, old schooling. That's what it breaks out to. Or if I want if they need to talk new schooling, new stuff, then I can talk that level. It's an educational value. That's why when you look at pro wrestling, what level are they on? Are they super schooling? Do they have super schooling techniques? How you got to look at it that way if you're going to go anywhere.
I think I'm going to go to a commercial break. Thank you so much for the call, Walt. We're at about that time here. But when we come back, we'll get to Sean from Ben Salem, who's been hanging ever so patiently on the line. And we'll have room for more of your reactions as well. 215-949-3232 or toll free at 888-922-2149. Great time to get in, as it's a rare occurrence that we're actually in studio here. And certainly looking forward to chatting with you lovelies out there. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
All of your favorite shops are still open while the new Dion Square is under construction. You may have already visited the brand new First National Bank branch or the new Pat Dion Beverages. When all the work is done, the new beautiful Dion Square will also feature a new Pennsylvania fine wine and spirits shop and a brand new CVS pharmacy. In the meantime, all of the shops are open for business while the new Dion Square takes shape. 518 South Oxford Valley Road in Fairless Hills.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you to keep bacteria in food from making you ill with 4 simple steps.
This will be a walk in the park.
Clean. Wash hands and surfaces often.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Keep raw meats away from ready-to-eat foods.
Yep.
Cook. Make sure meat, poultry, and seafood is cooked to the right temperature.
Fire in the hole!
And chill. Refrigerate food promptly. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
Join Rebecca's forecast at her new time, Tuesday at 10 a.m. She'll take your calls, questions, and fill you in on what's happening for your personal sun sign. Join Rebecca's forecast once again at her new time every Tuesday at 10 a.m. right here on 1490 WBCB.
You won't see termites crawling across your floor, but thousands might be devouring the wood in your walls, weakening the structure of your home. For over 50 years, termite proofing and pest control of the Delaware Valley has been in the exterminating business. If you think you have a pest problem, they're the experts. Call them today at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 for TPPC. Termite proofing and pest control of the Delaware Valley gives your home or business peace of mind, knowing your pest problem is in their hands. Located at 1560 Bristol Pike in Bensalem, they use only EPA-approved material applied by licensed technicians. Call Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley at 215-639-5455. And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
I can't guarantee greatness, but I'm going to go Tito Santana. I'm going to do my best. Arriba. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry flying solo here today as was mentioned in the last segment. The other cohort, he's not here. He's got other stuff he's doing. Anyway, we've got some... there's one thing that I definitely wanted to get into from the talking out of both sides of your mouth department. And... yeah, no, I won't take any pot shots there. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, let's get to Sean from Bensalem, who's been hanging on. Sean, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Ron, it's been too long since we spoke.
You ain't kidding. It certainly has. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm writing pen and paper right now. It's a movie called The Wrestler's Apprentice. It's going to be so cool. I'm floored. And I only went to grade school, elementary school, and high school. I want to go to that new school, super school. That's what it was. That was.
I see right where you're going there with that.
So, no, but just as far as poking barbs across the MMA circles into the WWE circles, if you talk to Bruno Sammartino, he had to fight his way out of every locker room because they were all basically independents back then. And the people were super jealous, and they really put it to him every time he stepped in the ring, each time. Before the regions, going from region to region. And he really held his own every single time. There's something to said about the old school wrestler compared to, the new school wrestler, which I agree. But it just comes to a point. Put Bruno's attitude in there, he would basically take everybody out in his prime.
Well, yeah, and he goes, he makes a point to give credit to some of those old school, he calls them old school wrestlers, and he...
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, goodness.
But the new school is different. It has to be different because the world's changed. And I guess
it's before the internet.
Yeah, he's just looking for the pop, though, the GP kind of thing. If you're going to start calling out Cena now, I'm older and fatter, and he's not going to poke at me. He'll poke at Cena.
Oh, okay. That was what the bleep was. Something involving an M with an F in the middle. We'll leave it at that. A big fat 40-year-old failed Mr. Olympia, M something, F something. You can piece it together from there, I'm sure.
I got scared. I thought you were bleeping me.
No. I was Conor McGregor. No. It's
all right. And then it just comes to a point where everybody, the Dino from the Worldwide Wrestling Alliance, and Eric Gargiulo, he's the one that taught me find a hole, fill a hole. If they need something here, they need chairs moved. It's all feeds itself. It should. The wrestling, I'm sure the MMA is similar. You got to be a ring rat kind of thing, and then you're trying to make your way as well. It just comes to a point where it have your own thing. And I don't know about the super school, but I went out to look into that.
Yeah, you and me both, apparently.
Yeah, well, at least you're in school now. So
this is true, learning at the MF Pro Academy.
Absolutely. So either way, we'll have to get together soon. A big shout-out to Completely Damaged, and go from there. Yeah,
absolutely. Probably the best way to see me at this point are the MFPW shows pretty much every other Saturday. In fact, there's a huge one coming up 1 week from tonight. In fact, you know what? Now's a good time to get into that. Probably one of the biggest events held at the MFPW Arena at 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey. One spot left for the Monster Ticket, and it will be... well, people will be vying for that spot in a 2-ring, 60-man battle royal. Oh, I guess guess Sean didn't want to stick around for that, huh? All right, he's at least listening in. I guess I was expecting a little interaction, but Sean just wanted to mention completely damaged and move on, I suppose. A winner will go on later that night to compete with qualifiers Matt McIntosh, Ryan Gallione, Peyton Foles, Royal Money, the Elite Athlete Mike Orlando, Cody Vance, and LSG for the Monster Ticket. Now, the winner of the Monster Ticket can use it at any time for a shot at any championship in the MFPW. Now, elimination in this 7-man contest occurs by pinfall, submission, or being thrown over the top rope to the floor. Plus, the Beast Cartel defend their tag titles. Britt Baker defends the MF Girls Championship, and so much more. It all goes down 1 week from tonight at the MFPW, presented by the world-famous Monster Factory, 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey. The doors open at 6. The action starts at 7. And don't forget to check out the MFPW and all things Monster Factory on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, plus at monsterfactory.org. And check out past matches, bios, bloopers, and more at the mfnetwork.com. Also of note, especially on YouTube and the mfnetwork.com, since about 2 months ago now, I've actually been play-by-play for the MFPW. I've been the play-by-play commentator, and that's certainly been an interesting and fun experience, and they get a chance to hear me in a slightly different light, and from what everybody's telling me, I'm doing pretty good at it, or at least kind of okay. I don't know, maybe it's one of those deals like Mike Samsel has said in the past, where when I'm good, I'm pretty okay, but when I'm bad, I'm great. Maybe that's how those things come across. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, getting into, this is something that's been, I guess, bugging me from the talking out of both sides of your mouth department. Now, Stephanie McMahon spoke recently at the Beyond Sport United event and told NBC Out, which I didn't even know that was a thing until apparently a couple of months ago it just started, and I didn't know about it until doing research on it this week, that WWE is committed to including LGBT characters into the fold. McMahon saying, quote, "We will integrate LGBT characters into our programming, and I do think there will be an opportunity to integrate some of those storylines in the near future." Stephanie also spoke about the company's relationship with the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, adding, quote, we've had GLAAD come in and speak to our entire writing team and give a whole tutorial on sensitivities, the right words, the wrong word, and why those words matter. I think that with their guidance and support, we will be able to portray that LGBT storyline appropriately. However, one night earlier on Monday Night Raw,
and no matter what I do, he's got my back. No matter where I go, he's got my back. Through hell and high water, Owens has my back.
You got my back, right?
Yeah. I thought it was like a rhetorical question. I got your back. Okay, I got your back.
You got his back, and you've got his back. Like Bert and Ernie, you're scrubbing his back. He's scrubbing your back, and you're in the very same bathtub.
Oh, you think that's funny? Huh? You think that's funny? Really? Really? Only a stupid idiot would think that was funny.
I agree, Chris Jericho. Where they were going there with that was obviously kind of making it seem like, oh, well, two guys in the same bathtub together, that's not okay. So that's where they're, in my opinion, talking out of both sides of their mouth. Is they're kind of making insinuations to the audience of, okay, they're trying to tell the audience we're open-minded, we're opening our hearts to the LGBT community, but at the same time, we're kind of letting people know subtly that that's not really okay. And I don't know, regardless of how you feel one way or the other about it, just kind of stick to a side on it. That's pretty much where I'm going with that. Now, speaking of the GLAAD, not too long after WWE announced its partnership with them back in 2011, WWE play-by-play announcer Michael Cole had used a homoidiotic slur and then toward then coworker Josh Matthews on Twitter. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth as far as the speaking one way and then going a different way. I don't know. It's just something that, again, kind of got, I guess, on my nerves. And then at the same token, I mean, WWE, as recently as a month ago, I think for 4th of July, and they've been continually airing it at house shows, especially with the Olympics, kind of talking about this inclusiveness and we are America.
Patriotism. There's a word thrown around a lot. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor, and with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. Love. For a word designed to unite, it can also be pretty divisive. You see, there's more to patriotism than flag sequin onesies and rodeos and quadruple cheeseburgers. Patriotism is love for a country, not just pride in it. But what really makes up this country of ours? What is it we love? It's more than just a huge rock full of animals like cougars and eagles, right? It's the people. Do me a favor. Close your eyes for a second. I want to try something out. Picture the average U.S. citizen. Think about it. How old are they? What's their hair like? How much can they bench? You got one? Okay. So chances are, the person you're picturing right now looks a little different to the real average American. There are 319 million U.S. citizens. 51% are female. So first off, the average American is a woman. Cool, huh? Is that what you pictured? 54 million are Latino, 40 million senior citizens, 27 million are disabled, 18 million are Asian. That's more people in the U.S. than play football and baseball combined. 9 million are lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, more than the entire amount of people that live in the state of Virginia. Around 10 million are redhead, 5.1 million play ultimate frisbee, and 3.5 million are Muslim. Triple the number of people currently serving in the United States military. Almost half the country belongs to minority groups. People who are lesbian, African American, and bi, and transgender, and Native American, and proud of it. We know that labels don't devalue us, they help define us, keeping us dialed into our cultures and our beliefs and who we are as Americans. After all, what's more American than freedom to celebrate the things that make us, us? I mean, it's stitched into the stars and stripes of this country, from the Constitution to Gettysburg, to our motto, E pluribus unum, from many, one. It's even in our country's name, the United States. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, disability, sexuality, race, religion, and any other labels. Because the second any of us judge people based on those labels, we're not really being patriotic, are we? So let's try this one more time. Close your eyes. Picture the average Joe or Joan or Juan or Jean-Luc. The real people who make America, America. And this year, whenever you feel the urge to don those star-spangled shorts, set off fireworks the size of my biceps to show love for our country, remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
So yeah, the We Are America campaign. And Ted Efaw applauding in the background at the, oh, yes, the rallying speech, which is great, except WWE is a little bit more global. This is kind of the patriotic U.S., I don't want to say jingoism, but I mean, something that we've, it was the same thing that they did back in the early 90s with the kind of playing off of the Persian Gulf War or Persian Gulf conflict and having Sergeant Slaughter as an Iraqi sympathizer. I mean, there are times where it kind of goes a little bit too far with the Yay USA and whatever to everybody else. I mean, that's kind of what it's become now, whereas 20, 30 years ago it was Yay USA, boo foreigners. Now it's Yay USA and all the rest of you in the world are okay too, I guess, because you're buying our WWE network and helping our numbers and whatnot. I don't know. I'm salty today. I don't know what the heck it is. But that being said, I'm at least trying to maintain a positive demeanor here, and one person certainly helping with that over over the Facebook fan page would be John from Northeast Philly. In response to the Conor McGregor back and forth with WWE superstars, he says, could this just be some kind of elaborate attempt at both UFC and WWE to promote each other and try some type of an invasion angle? It would definitely bring some type of attitude to Raw for sure. While there has been a lot of synergy over the years with UFC and WWE, I mean, you look back to the mid to late 90s where you had Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn as part of the promotion, Tank Abbott in WCW, and now the crossover in the other direction with Brock Lesnar. Well, he's been going back and forth between UFC and WWE over the course of his career. CM Punk now in UFC. Ronda Rousey making the appearance at WrestleMania last year. So, I mean, while there have been past examples, I don't think that they're going to take it so far as to make some sort of an invasion angle, because for UFC, then all it does is lead to people questioning the legitimacy of what goes on inside the octagon. That's just my thought on that. John also asking, what if Lashley showed up on Raw and dropped all Impact's titles into the garbage? Then Medusa Michelli would be very happy. How about that? And Stephanie McMahon must have forgotten about the angle with the proposed marriage involving Billy and Chuck. Yeah, the less that's said about that, the better. At least in my opinion there. Anyway, got to take care of our second and final timeout, but before I do so, got to let you know about my favorite watering hole. Now's a great time to pick up both of the recent bottle releases at the Broken Goblet Brewery at 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. There are still bottles of the B-Gob's Diane, their tribute beer to Twin Peaks. Remember that show from the early 90s? I certainly don't, but then again, I was still at the age watching cartoons at that point. This 6.5% coffee stout was brewed in collaboration with Calm Waters Coffee Roasters in Bristol, PA, and features their gourmet whole bean Guatemalan coffee to create a bitter black coffee stout. At some point, I got to crack open one of the couple bottles I have of those. It's a matter of when I can find time to do it. That's the hard part. I got to make some time. And just released last night, Escorted from the Building, a 9% Imperial Red Ale. Plus today at the Broken Goblet, Jules Thin Crust Pizza Truck will be in the lot from 3 to 8. The Philly Union soccer match will be on the big screen starting at 7. Plus after the game, it's the Righteous Jolly Birthday Show, Song, Suds, and Stories. It's always a good time at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. Broken Goblet Brewing, the semi-official brewery of Pro Wrestling Weekly. Coming back with more reaction, more news, and more hilarity, insanity, and who knows what else. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Let's go. Growing your business can certainly be a challenge. Univest Bank and Trust Company has partnered with WBCB on a small business series to help you achieve your goals. Tune in to Building Your Business with Univest Small Business Banking President Hugh Connolly and other industry experts. Join us every Wednesday morning at 9:30 to gain insight, solutions, and tips to help your business prosper. Univest's Building Your Business with Hugh Connolly every Wednesday morning at 9:30, right here on 1490 WBCB. Univest Bank and Trust Company is a member of the FDIC and an equal opportunity lender.
Join me, Dan Baker, and former Philly slugger Greg Luzinski for the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session, presented by Gage Fiore. Attorneys at FightForYou.com every Monday, 6 to 7 p.m., right here on 1490 WBCB and 610 Sports.
Generations ago, right here in Philadelphia, a great nation was born. Never before and never since has there been a place so tasty. This is Tasty Cake Nation. For over 100 years, Tasty Cake has made our favorites like crimpets and candy cakes. And you're free to enjoy them anytime, anywhere. Yes, even on the couch in your pajamas. Is this a great nation or what? Join Tasty Cake Nation at Tastycake.com.
Play Wild One, the new instant game from the Pennsylvania Lottery with 10 top prizes of $50,000. Pick up the game and play today. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Must be 18 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. The Pennsylvania Lottery again generated more than $1 billion last year for programs that benefit older Pennsylvanians. Visit PALottery.com for more details. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, August 13. On this date in 1994, ECW held its Hardcore Heavens Supercard. In the main event, Cactus Jack fought Terry Funk to a no contest. On this date in 2000, WCW held its New Blood Rising pay-per-view. In the main event, Booker T pinned Jeff Jarrett to retain the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 2001, WWF Monday Night Raw aired live from Chicago, Illinois. In the main event, Booker T and Rhino defeated Chris Jericho and The Rock in a tag team match. On this date in 2006, TNA held its Hard Justice pay-per-view. In the main event, Jeff Jarrett pinned Sting to retain the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. This has been Today in Wrestling History, August 13.
You are listening to Pro Wrestling Weekly with Fearon Dairy.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Thank you to Eric Bischoff for the kind words and informative things of that nature. Speaking of information, I've got a little bit for you as far as news and notes go. That's right. There's a new head of TNA. TNA issuing a press release yesterday to announce the appointment of Billy Corgan as its new president. Current president Dixie Carter becomes chairman and chief strategy officer of Impact Wrestling. Now, as president, Billy Corgan will be responsible for leading day-to-day operations for Impact and its affiliated brands. And as chairman, Carter will focus on long-term planning, strategic partnerships, and global growth. So it sounds like they're kind of taking one job and stretching it to two. At least that's kind of what I gather from it. Now, 49-year-old Corgan is an American musician, songwriter, producer, TV writer, and poet, best known as the lead singer, guitarist, and sole permanent member of the multiple Grammy Award-winning band Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah, that kind of takes me back to my high school days a little bit. Corgan joined Impact in May of last year as a senior producer, so we'll see what direction things go in as far as TNA. It's gotten a lot better as of late. And, of course, with the recent addition from this past Thursday, I'm sure most of you at least have heard about it, the wrestler formerly known as Damian Sandow is now over there, Aaron Rex. Kind of an interesting, well, I guess they couldn't have him use any of his older names, so yeah, it's another way to get kind of reinvented, as a few former WWE stars have, and I guess he's looking to be the next one, certainly. So we'll see where things go from that. Also, Freed Me More. That's right. WWE officially announcing this past Monday that they have, quote, parted ways with Ryback and that he is no longer under contract. He was wished the best in all of his future endeavors, and I mentioned last week about the Feed Me More trademark and was wondering who owns it. Well, I did a little bit of research on that, and technically both WWE and Ryback do. How's that, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. Ryback applied for the trademark July 27, 2015 for online retail store services featuring shirts, athletic pants, baby bibs, tank tops, and shorts. WWE, meanwhile, filed for the Feed Me More trademark on January 4th of this year for, and this is going to be a long one, entertainment services, namely wrestling exhibitions and performances by professional wrestlers and entertainers rendered live and through broadcast media, including television and radio, and via the internet or commercial online service. Providing information in the fields of sports and entertainment via an online community portal, providing a website in the field of sports entertainment, fan club services, organizing and staging social entertainment events with fan club members, providing online newsletters in the fields of sports entertainment, online journals, namely blogs, in the fields of sports entertainment. So WWE is going for the media aspect of it, and Ryback's looking to sell that merch. That seems to be the kind of difference as far as the two trademarks, and I wonder if that might have been a tipping point regarding, well, either individual's possible, either side, WWE or Ryback's, back and forth regarding re-signing that now hasn't occurred, and that might explain why they had parted ways, was the fact that maybe one side wanted a little bit more of the piece of the pie as far as the trademarking or coming to some sort of an agreement, and it didn't exactly work out that way. Kind of in the same way, I mean, you saw this, 20 plus years, almost 25 years ago with the back and forth regarding the Ultimate Warrior and his merchandise, and that's how he even went as far as to legally change his name from Jim Hellwig to Warrior in an attempt to try to get those rights signed over to him. I think that happened in, 93, I want to say, to little avail. I mean, fortunately, they were able to make amends before Warrior passed away, but, I mean, it almost seems like something out of this realm, although I don't think Ryback is changing his name to Feed Me More, because that would be one of the more absurd names in sports since He Hate Me, another WWE and XFL creation. Yeah, I'm sure you remember Rod Smart out there. He Hate Me. I don't know. Ted, you got anything on that one? Well, I was going to say, I don't know how many people... I was going to say, I think Tommy Maddox was probably the biggest name coming out of the XFL. Yeah, Ted is shaking his head vehemently out there. It's like, who's He Hate Me? Actually, all things considered, that might be Lucas right about now, but that's another story for another day, without question. Also, in other news, Loot Crate. I might have briefly gotten into this last week, but it was officially announced that the leading fan-based commerce and community platform in partnership with WWE announced on Monday the WWE Slam Crate, a bi-monthly mystery subscription crate to deliver exclusive products and content that surprises and delights fans. Each crate will feature authentic items, including WWE apparel and other collectibles that won't be found anywhere else. Oh, and speaking of collectibles, how could I forget? Another appearance coming up for George's Cards and Collectibles. Saturday, September 10th from 10:30 until 12:30, former WWE superstar and leader of the Exotic Express, Adam Rose. No word on whether his rosebuds will be there, but Adam Rose certainly will. He'll be at George's in the Neshaminy Mall. George's Cards and Collectibles has been the leading collectibles store in the tri-state area for over 20 years. They have 3 locations, including their original store at 7755 New Falls Road in Levittown, in the Willow Grove Park Mall, and in the Neshaminy Mall in the movie theater wing. Get the latest info on George's Cards and Collectibles at their website, georgescollectibles.com, as well as through George's Cards and Collectibles on Facebook. And props to John from Northeast Philly, right on top of things. He has posted the link to sign up for the Loot Crate, or the WWE Slam Crate, I should say, from Loot Crate, on the WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly Facebook fan page. So if that's something you're looking for, go ahead and get on it. Why not? Also, TNA issued a press release, going back to TNA for a moment, to announce that its biggest event of the year, Bound for Glory, will take place live on Sunday, October 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on pay-per-view. Now, supposedly, TNA was trying to put Bound for Glory on September 11th. I see what they were going for. They were going to Glory and September 11th, patriotism, yay. But they changed it to October 2nd once WWE added Backlash on September 11th. As that is going to be a brand exclusive pay-per-view or WWE Network special coming up. So an additional one that they've kind of thrown in there to, I believe, make 13 now for the year for WWE as far as their pay-per-view events. at least from what I can recall. And I'm trying to remember now off the top of my head, and having a heck of a time doing so, remembering which one's the Raw exclusive and which one's the SmackDown exclusive. But Oh, here we go. So Backlash is going to be a SmackDown exclusive on September 11th. And then 2 weeks later, on September 25th, Clash of Champions will be from Indianapolis, Indiana, and that will be a Raw exclusive network special. So that's what's in the near future coming up. And then, of course, Hell in a Cell in October, Survivor Series in November, and replacing TLC, Roadblock in December. Interesting. I guess they realized that putting a roadblock up on the road to WrestleMania was not the brightest of ideas. Anyway, getting into some other news real quick. Shelton Benjamin announcing that a rotator cuff surgery will prevent him from returning to WWE. Benjamin tweeting, "I am both disappointed and saddened to announce that due to a serious injury to my shoulder, I will not be returning to WWE at this time. For now, I will have to put pro wrestling to the side as I prepare to undergo surgery to repair my torn rotator. This comes as a shock to me as I am no stranger to performing while in pain, yet I had no idea of the severity of my condition. Thank you, WWE, for helping me discover this situation and for giving me an opportunity to return. I will be back. For now, I must refocus my energy on repairing my body and mind." Now, the recovery time for a torn rotator cuff, usually about 4 to 6 months, but Benjamin having just turned 41 last month, as I'm quickly learning, it takes a little bit longer to recover the more you progress through life. It's probably the nicest way that I can say, the more you age or the more you get old. And being only, about 6 years younger than Shelton Benjamin, I can certainly attest to that. All right, we've got a couple of minutes left. Just hopping on the line here, Ed from Northeast Philly. Ed, welcome to the program.
Sorry, so late.
Better late than never. Just got in there in the nick of time. Got about 2 minutes. What's on your mind?
I'll make this quick. CCW's doubleheader tonight, or this afternoon, 2 p.m. free show, and 8 p.m. bell time in Voorhees.
Oh, very nice.
And Game Changer Acid Cup is coming to Philadelphia.
Huh.
Trent Acid. The late Trent Acid.
Oh, yeah, that's right. For the late, that's right. The tribute.
And PWS postponed the show because of building problems.
Oh, hate those building problems.
Yes. New date will be announced shortly.
Oh, that is good to hear.
And one more thing. SummerSlam viewing party at Nick's Roast Beef in the Northeast.
Oh, very nice. Any guests lined up for that?
Ted DiBiase.
Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Well, I mean, it could have been Ted Jr. I don't know. Yeah, Ted Sr. Okay. Yes, the $1 Million Man bringing his... well, I don't know if he's bringing any hundreds for the people, but yes, bringing his cash and his wisdom and knowledge and experience to Nick's Roast Beef on Cotman Avenue in Northeast Philly to watch SummerSlam with the peeps.
Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you. Goodness, yeah, it's been a couple weeks, and I feel every bit of 35 and then some. There are some days where I'm 35 going on about 95, it feels like.
And it's been over a year since Dusty and Piper passed away.
Yeah, those were both in the summer of last year, their passings.
Yeah, that year went fast.
I know. It's crazy how time flies.
Yeah, that's about it.
All righty. Thank you so much for the call, Ed. Greatly appreciate it. And that actually gives us just enough time for... Birthday! There we go. Thank you, Ted. Filling in ever so nicely. I've got 3 plus a Brucie bonus. I'm kind of adding that in now, especially for when they're a little bit lighter, is kind of something outside of the realm of professional wrestling. So they could go pretty much across the board. First off, on this date in 1949, James Brunzell was born, the former WWF and AWA tag team specialist, best known as one half of the Killer Bees. Jumpin' Jim Brunzell turned 67 today. On this date in 1959, Ted, you'll get a kick out of this one. Dante Daniel Bonaducci was born.
Oh, my God. The Partridge Family.
The former child actor and current radio host who wrestled against and lost to Eric Young at the TNA Lockdown 2009 pay-per-view, known as Danny Bonaducci from the Partridge Family, turns 57 today. Come on, get happy indeed. On this date in 1970, Matthew Hyson was born, the former two-time ECW Tag Team Champion, WWE Tag Team Champion, Cruiserweight Champion, European Champion, and 8-time Hardcore Champion, best known as Little Spike Dudley, turns 46 today. And as a Brucie bonus, on this date in 1926, Fidel Alejandro Castro Ruz was born, the politician and revolutionary who governed the Republic of Cuba as prime minister from 1959 to 1976 and then as president from 1976 to 2008, turns 90 today. Fidel Castro, how about that? Yeah, I know. You never know where I'm going to go with the Brucie bonus. It's going to be a new wrinkle to the show here. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. Next week, I will be live on tape as I will be down at the MF Super Camp leading up to the show. And because there's so much going on, so many different instructors, Brutal Bob Evans from Ring of Honor, Matt Wisniewski, the strength and conditioning coach from WWE's NXT, just to name a couple. Joel Gertner is going to be there, the quintessential stud muffin himself. So because of the various instructions, I won't be able to dip away for an hour to do the show. So it'll be pre-recorded at some point this week. Anyway, Teddy Faw's next with the Country Roads, and until next week, play us out, Nutsy.
1 o'clock in all's well.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 1490 WBC.